Hello everyone, Linda Israel here, and I'm going to share with you a little project using my envelope template. I created these templates whenever I created some vintage looking envelopes a few weeks ago. I have a link in the eye so you can see that. And I thought I would share how to use the template if you end up buying one from my shop, or just give you an idea of making your own envelope template and using it. So if you've watched my channel, you know that I have a spray box, and that whenever I have things that I spray, I have pieces of paper and those are left over from projects. So I thought, well, what I would do is share with you how I took a piece of my Mop Up page and I've got an envelope template, and all I'm going to do is line this up on here. And I've just got a Sharpie pen. This is one of those no bleed pens, and it's one of my favorites because it's a nice dark black and it doesn't bleed through the paper. So what I'm going to do is just go in here and trace this out all the way around. And I'm not worried about the black line because I plan to cover that up with Distress ink. So that's it. I just trace that just as the template is, and then I will cut this out. So here's one that I have cut out, and I'm going to use the distressed ink and go all the way around the edge on both sides of this paper. I'm using walnut stain, and of course this is the blending tool from Ranger ink. So I've gone all the way around on both sides, and then I decide what is going to be the inside of my envelope and what's going to be the outside. So I think I want this to be the outside, and this is going to be the inside. Actually, I changed my mind. I want the dragonfly look on the outside. So what I like to do is I just have a very flat ruler, and I found that if I line it up where the bottom flap is, and then just fold this up, put a little crease on there, and then go ahead and fold it over. That helps me ensure that I'm folding it correctly. So I'm just folding this over. And it has little notches, so you should be able to judge where you're supposed to fold. And then this one down. And then I'll go back around and distress where I have folded. Flip it over and do the other side as well. There is my envelope, and now I want to decorate it. So I've got this little bag of words that I've created. So I've picked a couple of them. This one says treasure. It has a little bit of a white space from when I cut it on my cutter. Sometimes it's perfect, sometimes it's not. Sometimes I'll go in like I am right now and just trim off that excess, and then I'll use my blending tool to add some distress ink to that edge. And then I'm going to attach this. So I'm using the No Clog writing cap and the Scrap Perfect glue because I like only having to put just a small amount of glue right on there. And I'm going to place this right here on the bottom corner. And I've shared this before. I have this little box that I put punched shapes, die cut shapes, things that I cut out of scraps. And I cut out with a little bitty punch. This is a Tim Holtz punch, so it's a tiny little heart punch. So look at your punches and see if you have one that makes little tiny shapes. I've said this before. It's so much easier for me to use the punch than to try to cut a tiny little heart. So I'm going to place that right here. And while I'm going to work on the next piece, I thought I would show you this part, which is to take this No Clog writing cap, because it's going to put precisely a small amount and the best glue ever. And I'm going to put just a dot right here on the top of that flap. So it's just a very, very tiny amount. And then I'm going to set this aside and let it air dry. And once it gets air dry, it'll be clear. So I'm going to leave that there for a moment. And then I have a little bitty tiny piece of paper that was scrap. And it is approximately 1.5 inches wide by 1.25 inches tall. So I'm going to add some distress ink to the edge of this. And then I have this little word, dreams, so I'm going to add some distress ink to it as well. Then I'll use the glue again on the back side, just placing a small amount. And then there's a tiny little card that's going inside this envelope. So I'll close in the side flaps and then the bottom flap. And this is almost ready, so we'll give it just a little bit longer. And I'll show you some other envelopes that I made. So this one says believe in magic. And again, I just put a tiny drop of glue on the back side. And then this whole envelope opens up. Isn't that cute? So here's what I've got for everyone here. If you go to my shop and you purchase an envelope template and some of my words, I will give the first 9 people that do that one of these little envelopes that I've made. So again, we're just opening that up. Timeless, treasure this day. Again, same thing, just using a tiny dot. Cherish, write your story. Love, use your wings. Another use your wings. I tend to like butterflies. So what do you think? Do you like these little envelopes and the idea of just using some leftover papers to make them? If so, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Of course, comment below if you have any comments about what kind of paper you would use to make your little envelopes, or have you already purchased one of my templates? Let's see, check out the description box for links to my blog as well as my Facebook groups and social media. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell up at the top. And tell me what you're working on today. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Again, check out my shop. The first 9 orders will get one of these envelopes. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Bye.